For the past 5 years, the Minnesota High-Speed Rail Commission has been working to make high-speed rail service to southeast Minnesota using the Highway 61 Mississippi River Corridor a reality. Former Winona Mayor Jerry Miller serves as a member of the commission. He said high-speed rail will eventually come to Winona. However, Miller said it will most likely not be at the 200-mile-per-hour speeds many associate with high-speed train travel.
That route where you're averaging maybe 90 miles an hour, where you can get to the Twin Cities to Chicago in say 5.5 hours, from Winona to Chicago in 4.5 hours, people will use it as long as it's reliable. When it's supposed to be there at 10, it should be there not later than 10 after 10. But I think if you can get that reliability, I think people will use it.
In 2009, $8 billion was earmarked as part of the federal government stimulus package to develop high-speed rail service along 10 corridors in the U.S. Miller said continued funding for the project will be important.
It started with, like I said, with the initial $8 billion, and then we teamed up with Ramsey County. We got the Union Depot going, we got the preferred route status, and that's what we were working on. And now they're doing the environmental, but what happens afterwards depends on money. You know, the states, the federal government, do they want to look at, like the federal government, do they want to look at routes like ours, which isn't 10,000 people a day? Does the state want to look at routes instead of the inner city, you know, where the population is? And I think down the line something will happen.
The commission has proposed to Amtrak officials the addition of an extra train per day between Chicago and St. Paul to entice more people to travel by rail.
Our idea has been to let's try another train a day in both directions that just goes from Chicago to the Twin Cities. So you're not going out west and getting hung up. So that train should be reliable, or fairly reliable as far as times go. And I think if it's reliable as far as times go, people will use it. La Crosse is helping in that. Other cities in Wisconsin are helping in that, because like I said, we see that connection, that Chicago connection opens up a lot of doors for us as long as it's reliable and it's halfway decent on time. You know, 4.5, 5 hours from here to Chicago isn't bad to right downtown. If you're going to a play, you got business down there or whatever. You know, if you look at flying, by the time you go to the airport, you get off, you fly in, you get to O'Hara, by the time you get downtown, it's pretty much the same amount of time. Plus, you don't have all the hassles. You can get on the train, you can use your computer, you can use your phone. You know, I don't know if you can have a sandwich anymore, but they will put that back on, I'm sure, if volume increases. And it's an enjoyable way to travel. I think it's a nice trip. I would go to Chicago more if I knew that when I wanted to come back, or when I wanted to go, if I was going to go at 10, that I didn't have to wait till 1 or 2 to get on the trains. So those are the things that we're looking at.
The Mayo Clinic's Destination Medical Center plans have opened up more options for rail travel and Winona's role as a transportation hub. Miller said discussions have been held on using the CP rail line, which runs from Winona to Rochester and beyond, to bring people to the clinic.
We're exploring that with the people up there as a connection, another connection from Winona to Rochester, and where Winona could be the hub for people coming from Chicago. And then after that, Mayo's the hub for people coming from here, people coming from the west, either as patients or to work. And like I said, they're going to need more people. They're looking at increasing their workforce by quite a bit over the next years here. And you know, where are they going to get it from? And that's where that zip line comes in too. That's from Rochester direct to the Twin Cities, because in my view, that's where they're going to get most of their additional employees out of.
Advancement of the rail plan is in a holding pattern while an environmental impact statement is being worked on. Miller said any plans for high-speed rail would likely include a second set of tracks to keep rail traffic moving on time. He believes reliability is the key to growing ridership and moving high-speed rail plans forward.
Right now, they're looking at the environmental impact on all that. I think you'd probably have to make sure that you got double track all the way, and you might, with all the freight traffic today, that's something that would you have to have another line or passing lines or whatever somewhere along the line. But if you start out slow, if you start out with one train a day, and then build your ridership, and then increase your speed, you go one step at a time. I think that's the way it'll be accomplished. If we get a second train a day, I don't see that train going 100 miles an hour, but it'll be reliable.
An alternative selection report by the Minnesota Department of Transportation estimates upgrades to the Highway 61 Mississippi River Corridor, which runs between the Twin Cities and Milwaukee, to accommodate speeds of up to 110 miles per hour would cost about $2.4 billion. According to the report, that cost includes all track work, safety improvements, and engineering costs for the project.